In the quaint town of Ravenswood, John, a solitary librarian, led a peaceful and uneventful life. However, one fateful evening, as he closed the library and walked home, he began to notice faint flickers of the past, glimpses of long-forgotten moments that seemed to dance at the edges of his vision. At first, he dismissed them as mere tricks of the mind, attributing the flickers to exhaustion or stress, but the flickers persisted, growing stronger with each passing day. As they became more vivid, John saw glimpses of people in old-fashioned attire, scenes from decades past, and haunting faces of the long dead. The flickers haunted him relentlessly, driving him to the brink of madness. Unable to endure the torment any longer, John decided to investigate the origins of these ghostly apparitions. In his research, he stumbled upon a hidden part of Ravenswood's history, a tragic event that had taken place years ago and remained shrouded in secrets. The whispers of the past guided John to an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. The once grandiose Fairfax estate, now dilapidated and overgrown, the mansion was rumored to be cursed, and the townspeople avoided it at all costs. With trepidation, John entered the decaying mansion, his heart pounding in his chest. As he explored the dimly lit rooms, the flickers intensified, revealing fragments of a dark and tragic tale. The mansion seemed to come alive with echoes of the past. He witnessed apparitions of a grieving family, tormented souls who had once resided within its walls. Among them was a woman in a flowing gown, her tear-streaked face etched with sorrow. Drawn by an invisible force, John followed the flickers of the past to a hidden room in the attic. There, he discovered an old chest filled with dusty letters and forgotten photographs, a treasure trove of forgotten memories. The letters revealed the tragic fate of the Fairfax family, whose youngest daughter, Emily, had been unjustly accused of a crime she didn't commit. The injustice had torn the family apart, leaving Emily to suffer in solitude until her mysterious disappearance. As John read the letters, the flickers of the past coalesced into a haunting apparition, the spirit of Emily Fairfax. Her desperate pleas for justice echoed in the room, reaching out from the depths of time. Feeling an overwhelming sense of responsibility, John vowed to uncover the truth and clear Emily's name. He became obsessed with the mystery, poring over historical records and seeking answers from the few remaining living witnesses. The more he delved into the past, the more malevolent the flickers became. The ghostly apparitions turned sinister, their hollow eyes now filled with rage and vengeance. They seemed to follow him, seeking to prevent him from revealing their dark secrets. As John drew closer to the truth, he became the target of the vengeful spirits. They haunted his dreams, whispering threats and tormenting him with nightmarish visions. The line between the past and the present blurred, and John struggled to distinguish reality from the ghosts of history. In the darkest hour of his investigation, the apparitions cornered John in the attic of the Fairfax estate. Their malevolent presence surrounded him, suffocating him with the weight of their sorrow and rage. But John refused to back down. With a surge of determination, he confronted the spirits and vowed to bring justice to Emily Fairfax. He promised to reveal the truth that had been buried for so long, no matter the cost. The flickers of the past intensified, and for a moment, John feared he would be swallowed whole by the spirit's wrath. But then, in a blinding burst of light, the apparitions vanished, leaving behind an air of solemn tranquility. The truth was finally unveiled. The innocence of Emily Fairfax was brought to light, and her memory was freed from the shackles of injustice. With her spirit at peace, the flickers of the past dissipated, leaving John with a sense of closure. The townspeople would never forget the haunted librarian who had uncovered the terrifying truth, nor would they forget the restless spirits who had sought justice from beyond the grave. And as the days turned into years, the memory of John and the ghosts of the past would become a haunting tale passed down through generations, a reminder that the past should never be forgotten and that the truth has a way of revealing itself, no matter how deeply it's buried.
In the vast and uncharted waters of the Pacific Ocean, there existed a hidden island shrouded in mystery and peril, the Island of the Forsaken. Legends spoke of its existence, but few believed in its existence, dismissing it as mere tales to scare adventurous souls away. However, a team of daring explorers, led by Dr. Victoria Morgan, was determined to uncover the truth. As they set sail on their expedition, excitement mingled with trepidation. The journey was long and arduous, plagued by storms and unpredictable currents. But finally, after weeks at sea, they caught a glimpse of land on the horizon, the elusive island of the Forsaken. As they stepped ashore, the explorers were met with an eerie silence. The island's dense vegetation seemed to watch them with malevolent eyes, and an unsettling feeling settled in their hearts. The island was unlike any they had seen before: lush jungles, towering cliffs, and a foreboding darkness that enveloped everything. They began their exploration, hoping to unravel the island's mysteries. The deeper they ventured, the more peculiar and ominous the island revealed itself to be. Strange symbols adorned the trees, and unsettling sounds echoed through the foliage. At night, the island seemed to come alive with chilling cries and haunting melodies, carried on the wind. The explorers huddled together, their senses alert to the unknown horrors that lurked in the shadows. One by one, members of the team disappeared, drawn away by an unseen force that led them deeper into the island's heart. They were swallowed by the darkness, leaving behind only echoes of their cries. Dr. Morgan grew more determined to solve the island's enigma, even as fear gripped her heart. In her search for answers, she discovered ancient cave paintings depicting terrifying beasts, a sign that monsters indeed inhabited the island. The remaining members of the team were haunted by the apparitions of the missing explorers, their tortured faces pleading for help. Dr. Morgan knew they couldn't leave the island without finding them. In their relentless pursuit, the explorers stumbled upon a long-forgotten temple, hidden within the heart of the island. Carvings on the walls told a tale of ancient rituals and vengeful spirits that had once called the island home. As they delved deeper into the temple, the air grew heavy with malevolence. A ghastly presence surrounded them, and they felt the lingering touch of invisible hands on their skin. Dr. Morgan realized that they were trespassing on sacred ground, unleashing the wrath of the island's ancient guardians. The monsters they had feared were not mere creatures of the jungle, but vengeful spirits intent on punishing intruders. With each step, the explorers found themselves ensnared in a nightmarish realm where reality and the supernatural merged. The island's malevolent force fed on their fear, luring them deeper into its clutches. But Dr. Morgan refused to give in to the island's malevolence. She mustered all her courage and confronted the vengeful spirits, pleading for forgiveness and understanding. She offered herself as a sacrifice, hoping to appease the ancient guardians and save her remaining companions. The spirits seemed to consider her plea, and for a moment, the island fell silent. Then, with a thunderous roar, the spirits accepted her sacrifice, absorbing her fear and pain. Dr. Morgan's body glowed with a radiant light, and the island's malevolence was expelled. In the wake of the sacrifice, the island's darkness receded, and the missing explorers returned unharmed, their memories of the horrors erased. Dr. Morgan, however, had become one with the island's ancient spirits, her soul forever intertwined with the mysteries of the island of the Forsaken. The surviving explorers sailed away from the island, leaving behind the enigmatic place that had nearly consumed them. The tale of the island of the Forsaken lived on as a chilling reminder of the dangers that lay in uncharted waters, a warning to those who dared to venture into the unknown, lest they become lost forever in a realm where monsters and mysteries lurked in the shadows.
In the quiet town of Greenwood, nestled amidst ancient forests and rolling hills, a malevolent presence stirred an ancient cult that had long remained dormant in the shadows, hidden from the eyes of the unsuspecting townsfolk. For centuries, the cult had practiced dark and bloody rituals, worshipping malevolent entities hungry for sacrifice. On a moonless night, a group of curious teenagers stumbled upon a hidden entrance to an underground chamber or relic from the town's forgotten past. Intrigued by the mystery, they ventured into the darkness, unknowingly awakening the long-dormant cult. As they descended deeper into the subterranean depths, they discovered an eerie chamber adorned with sinister symbols and dripping with the residue of forgotten bloodshed. Unbeknownst to them, they had become pawns in a deadly game, unleashed from their slumber. The cult's followers began to rise, wearing cloaks of darkness to conceal their identities. Their leader, known only as the Dark Master, exuded an aura of malevolence that commanded obedience from the cultists. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the townspeople noticed a shift in the atmosphere, chilling stillness that pervaded the air. The night became alive with eerie chants that echoed through the town. Summoning spirits from the abyss, the cult's influence spread like a poisonous fog, infiltrating every corner of Greenwood. People reported strange occurrences, disappearing livestock, blood-red moonlit nights, and whispers of the ancient cult's return. Amelia, one of the teenagers who had stumbled upon the cult's lair, found herself tormented by visions of terrifying rituals. She saw the Dark Master cloaked in darkness, leading the cult in ceremonies of blood and suffering. Amelia confided in her friends about the horrifying visions, and together, they realized the grave mistake they had made by awakening the cult. Determined to stop the evil from consuming their town, they set out to find a way to break the cult's influence. As they delved deeper into the town's history, they discovered that Greenwood had once been a haven for the dark arts, a place where ancient rituals had once held sway. The ancestors of the town's current inhabitants had managed to suppress the cult's influence, but their vigilance had waned over the years. The teenagers sought the guidance of the town's oldest resident, Mrs. Rosewood, rumored to be a descendant of those who had fought against the cult in the past. Mrs. Rosewood's eyes flickered with ancient wisdom as she recounted the stories of her ancestors' struggle against the malevolent force. With Mrs. Rosewood's help, the teenagers prepared a counter-ritual, a powerful ward that would protect the town from the cult's dark magic. They gathered under the full moon, chanting ancient incantations to summon the energies of light and goodness. The cultists sensed the threat and launched an attack to stop the teenagers from completing their ritual. In the midst of the chaos, the Dark Master appeared, his eyes ablaze with malevolence. But the teenagers stood firm, their hearts united in the desire to protect their town. With the power of their counter-ritual, they pushed back the dark forces, banishing the cultists and their leader back into the shadows. As the last vestiges of the cult's influence dissipated, Greenwood was freed from its malevolent grasp. The town's memory of the ancient cult would forever remain a chilling tale passed down through generations, a reminder of the danger that lurked beneath the surface and the strength of unity and light against the shadows of darkness. In the remote village of Blackthorn, an ancient cemetery rested on the outskirts, a place where the dearly departed found their eternal rest. Unbeknownst to the living, the spirits of those who had met unjust deaths had grown restless and enraged over the centuries. Their souls denied peace and justice. As the village prepared for the annual Day of Remembrance, the air crackled with an unsettling energy. Families gathered to pay their respects, unaware of the wrath that was about to be unleashed. Amidst the solemn atmosphere, a group of teenagers engaged in a reckless game, using an ancient Ouija board they had found hidden in the cemetery. Ignoring the warnings whispered by the elders, they summoned spirits from the other side, seeking entertainment and thrill in their ignorance. They unleashed the vengeful spirits that had long been imprisoned within the hallowed grounds, furious at the injustice of their deaths and the indifference of the living. The spirits vowed to seek revenge on those who had wronged them and their descendants that night. As the villagers retired to their homes, the spirits began their terrifying quest for vengeance. They emerged from their tombs, their ethereal forms glowing with an eerie light. The wind carried their mournful cries, and an aura of malevolence enveloped the village. The first victim of the spirits was Jonathan, a cruel landlord known for exploiting the villagers. His sleep was disturbed by nightmarish visions of the spirits seeking retribution for the suffering he had caused. The spirits appeared before him, their eyes hollow and filled with wrath. He tried to scream, but his voice failed him as they dragged him into the darkness. As the villagers woke to the news of Jonathan's sudden death, fear gripped their hearts. Some whispered of a curse, while others dismissed it as mere coincidence. But the spirits were not done with their revenge. Next was Lady Arabella, who had once wielded her power to condemn innocent women as witches. The spirits haunted her dreams, their spectral forms tormenting her until she begged for mercy. But mercy was not on the spirits' agenda, and Lady Arabella met the same gruesome fate as those she had accused. The village was gripped with terror as the spirits continued their relentless pursuit of revenge. Families barricaded their doors and windows, but the spirits could not be kept at bay. Their ethereal forms passed through walls and locked doors, their wrath inflicting a toll on those who had committed heinous acts. The villagers soon realized that the spirits were not just after the guilty. They sought vengeance for all injustices, no matter how small or forgotten. The spirits exposed the secrets that had long been buried, revealing past transgressions and hidden sins. With each passing night, the village descended into chaos and despair. The spirits showed no mercy, their anger fueling their relentless pursuit of justice. The living cowered in fear, their hearts heavy with guilt for their ancestors' actions. In a desperate attempt to stop the spirits' rampage, the village elders gathered to seek guidance from a local wise woman, Abigail. She had the knowledge of ancient rituals that could appease the vengeful souls. As the full moon rose, the village gathered at the cemetery, hoping to appease the spirits and put an end to their vengeance. With Abigail's guidance, they performed a sacred ceremony to honor the spirits and acknowledge the injustices of the past. The spirits appeared before them, their rage palpable, but something in the ceremony touched their hearts. As the villagers confessed their ancestors' wrongdoings, a glimmer of understanding flickered in the spirits' eyes. In an ethereal chorus, the spirits forgave the living for their ancestors' sins. They finally found solace in the acknowledgement of their pain and suffering. With the burden of vengeance lifted, they returned to their graves, finding peace at last. The village learned a harrowing lesson that the sins of the past could never be truly forgotten. But they also learned the power of acknowledging and learning from their ancestors' mistakes. From that day on, the village of Blackthorn observed a day of remembrance, not just to honor their departed loved ones, but also to recognize the injustices of the past and seek forgiveness. The spirits were appeased, and peace returned to the village. But the chilling tale of the revenge of the spirits remained etched in their memories, a haunting reminder of the consequences that could await those who forget the past and the power of forgiveness. In the heart of the land lay Eldoria, a once thriving city known for its prosperity and splendor. But beneath its glamorous exterior lurked a curse that had plagued the city for centuries. A wicked sorceress, Lady Isabella, had cursed Eldoria centuries ago, seeking revenge for her exile by the city's ruling elite. From the moment the sun dipped below the horizon, Eldoria became a realm of shadows and fear. The city's inhabitants locked themselves in their homes, whispering tales of the malevolent curse that held them captive. As the city slept, eerie shadows danced on the walls, and haunting cries echoed through the empty streets. The air was thick with an otherworldly chill, and the city's grand buildings took on a foreboding presence with each passing night. The curse grew stronger, feeding on the fear and desperation of the inhabitants. People vanished without a trace, their homes left in disarray as if they had fled in terror. Among the cursed souls was Sophia, a young woman who had lost her parents to the malevolence of the curse. Determined to uncover the truth, she delved into the city's dark history, seeking answers in forbidden tomes and ancient scrolls. The curse seemed to sense her quest for knowledge, and the shadows grew restless. One night, as Sophia explored the city's abandoned library, the whispers of the curse surrounded her, their voices a chilling chorus of malice. As she reached for an ancient grimoire, the shadows lunged at her, forming into ghastly apparitions that threatened to consume her soul. With sheer willpower, Sophia fought back, holding a talisman passed down from her ancestors, the only defense against the curse's malevolence. With the talisman's protection, Sophia discovered the truth behind the curse. Lady Isabella, the scorned sorceress, had left behind a series of cursed artifacts scattered throughout the city. These dark objects drew power from the inhabitants' fear, allowing the curse to control them. Determined to free her city from the curse's clutches, Sophia sought out each cursed artifact, her courage bolstered by the memory of her parents and the city's suffering. In her quest, she encountered others who had also lost loved ones to the curse. Together, they formed a small band of defiant souls, ready to face the malevolence that had ruled Eldoria for far too long. As they confronted the cursed artifacts, the shadows grew restless, manifesting into monstrous forms. But Sophia and her allies stood strong, united in their resolve to break the curse's hold. With each artifact destroyed, the curse's power weakened, and the shadows retreated. The city's inhabitants felt a glimmer of hope, their hearts no longer gripped by the suffocating fear that had haunted them for centuries. But the curse was not so easily defeated. Lady Isabella's malevolence refused to fade, and she materialized before Sophia. Her eyes ablaze with fury. In a tense confrontation, Sophia confronted Lady Isabella, appealing to the sorceress's humanity and the desire for redemption. She spoke of the generations of suffering that had resulted from the curse, and the possibility of finding peace and forgiveness. As Lady Isabella's anger wavered, a glimmer of remorse shone in her eyes. The centuries of bitterness began to unravel, and with a final surge of determination, she released the curse's hold on Eldoria. The shadows dissipated, and the city was bathed in a warm, golden light. The curse had been broken, and the inhabitants felt a sense of relief they had never known. Eldoria began to heal from the curse's legacy, but the haunting tale of the cursed city remained etched in its history, a reminder of the darkness that could take root in the heart of a city and the power of courage, unity, and forgiveness to break even the most malevolent of curses.